Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, my dear Falconians. Here is your science teacher, Ms. Sayyida Sarish Ehsan. So, my dear students of level 8, today we are going to continue our chapter number 10, that is light. In this video, we are going to cover our two topics, that was refraction of light and colors of light. So, let's start. Refraction of light. What is refraction of light? As we are all familiar with the common word reflection of light, that when light hits any of the surface and bounce back, that is called the reflection of light. But what is refraction of light? This is what we are going to learn today. Basically, when the ray of the light traveling through one medium strikes obliquely the surface of another transparent medium, then there is change in its direction. Like in common or easy words, we can understand that the movement or the speed of the light vary from one medium to another medium. Like when the light is moving or traveling in air, when it enters into water, it always change its direction little bit, not very much but little. So that change of angle, that change of position is called refraction of light. Light refracts at boundary between two mediums because of the change in speed. Because the speed of the light in air is different, the speed of the light in water is different. So that's why the angle or the position of the movement of the light ray is changed when it enters from one medium to another medium, right? Now here you can see that pictures in front of you. You can see that with the example of this rectangular box, they tried to explain the movement that when light is traveling in air, the direction of light is different, and when it enters into liquid, the direction little bit, not very much but little bit tilt, and then after that when it passes into the air again, the direction again changes. Now here you can see the pencil, and you can do this experiment in your home also, that whenever we used to put the spoon or the pencil or any of the thing in the water and we try to see it from the upper level, we always see the image, the second image of that object like pencil in water also. You can see over here in front of you in the picture, and you can do it at your home also. So this is why, because of the refraction, because the speed vary from one medium to another medium. When light is traveling in air, it is traveling with another speed, with higher speed, while when it travels in water, the speed decreases, so the position or the direction is also decreases. Here you can see the diagrams in front of you. Okay, if the ray of light enters from rare into denser medium, it bends towards the normal, but when it enters from the denser into the rare medium, it bends in away from the normal. Basically, what is rare and the denser? Rare means they are saying that when the light is enter from the air to the liquid medium or the glass, so the angle is different, means it comes closer to the normal, while when it moves from this glass or water to the air, the angle become different, it become far away from the normal line, right? So here you can see the picture in front of you. It is the angle in the air of the light ray, and when it enters into the glass, the angle is changes, it comes closer to the normal, while when again you can see that when it again came out from that glass, you can again see that the angle of the light ray is changes and it gets far away from the normal. Now from a less dense to a denser medium, why they are saying from less dense to a denser medium? As we all know that about the particle theory of solid, liquid and gas, when we are talking about air, that is less denser because the particles are quite far away from each other, but when it is entering into a glass, it means in a solid, so the particles are completely packed or close with each other, so that's why that medium is considered as the more denser one, right? So here you can see that the incident ray and the refracted ray, as we already learned in the starting of the chapter, okay, there are two rays by the angle which, or by the first ray which hits the object, that is called incident ray, and the ray which is going to bounce back is called reflected ray. But here the another word we are using, the refracted ray. Why we are using this word refracted ray? Because the ray which is first of all hitting hitting this glass, that going to change its angle. Still it is moving through the glass, but it changes its angle, so that's why we called it refracted ray, right? So light is bent towards the normal. Here you can see another example or the another part of that same diagram. Okay, now we consider the ray which is coming out, which is present inside the water, inside the glass or inside the water, that will be considered as the incident ray, and the angle is changes when it enters into the air, that will be called refracted ray. Means from the denser medium to the less denser medium. As we all know that when we talk about the water, the liquid, the particles are little bit far away from each other, while when we are talking about the air, the particles are very much far away from each other. So that's why we consider water is more denser than the air. Now you have to draw this diagram with the proper angles in your journals as well, and as it is also given in your book also. And this is why we are continuously using these diagrams to explain that what is the incident ray and what is the refracted ray. The thing to remember over here, that the movement or the traveling or the speed of light ray in different mediums is different. When it is traveling from the air, it is having totally different speed, right? When it travels in the water, it has totally different speed, and when it travels through the glass, through the solid medium, its speed is totally different. So basically speed vary from medium to medium. And why it is varying from medium to medium? Because of the space in the mediums, or we can say the arrangement of the particles of the present in different mediums is different. That affects on the movement or the speed of the light, right? Now what is law of refraction of light? Incident ray, reflected ray and normal lie in the same plane. It always lie in the same plane. Achha, first of all we all should know that as we all know the light is always travel in a straight line, so it bounces back or it refracts again into a straight line. It never tilt here and there, or it never becomes zigzag in position. It always reflect in a straight line, or it always refract also in a straight line. So the angles should be there. There should be the angles between the incident ray, reflected ray and the refracted ray. Why? Because it always travel in a straight line. So the ratio of sine of angle of incident to the sine of angle of refraction is constant in any two transparent mediums, so which is termed refracted index, and refracted index n is equals to sin li. Although it is not included in your syllabus, but it's some small extra information regarding the angles of the refracted and the incident ray. Now prism. You may see it is also present in our science lab, and we have triangular shape blocks of glass, that is called prism. It is a transparent body basically, and commonly having three sides. It's a rectangular and two sides triangular, right? So basically it's the triangle shaped object of a glass, and we call it prism. Now what this prism is explaining us, or it is helpful for us to explain the refraction of light. Now when you see the refraction of light through prism, incident ray PQ strikes. Now here they gave the name according to your mathematical calculation. They gave the names to the rays and to the sites, similarly as we did in the geometry section, right? So here you can see the picture in front of you, how the incident ray strikes in the prism and how it comes out from the prism, and how the picture or the diagram will appear in front of you. Here you can see the actual original picture, that how the light is entering in the prism, how it is going to refract, tilt when it enters into the prism, and then again when it comes out from the prism, again it is going to refract. Now here the previous topic, a previous topic of this chapter, which we have already covered in our Zoom class, but most of the students were absent over there, so that's why we are explaining here again. That is about lens and its kinds. There are basically two types of lenses, that is convex lens and the concave lens, right? Basically the convex and the concave lens both are the curved lens, and in which direction they are used to curve, this is what we are going to learn over here. Now here you can see the converging lenses and the diverging lenses in front of you. This type of lens is called convex lens, means when the lens is bulging, right? And when the lens is depth inside, it is called the concave lens. This type of lens, this shape of lens is called concave lens, but this shape of lens is called convex lens. Here you can see again, the convex lens is considered as the converging lens, that the light which is entering into the convex lens, the rays are going to converge, while the concave lens is considered as the diverging lens. It spreads or diverges the light which enters inside it. So here are some properties of the convex lens. It is the thickest in the center because its boundaries are curving outwards. As it bends light inwards, rays come together. Hence it is also called converging lens. Its focal length is taken positive, and if it forms real image, right? And when we talk about concave lens, it is thinnest in the center because the boundaries are curving inwards, and as it spreads light out, rays move apart. Hence it is also called a diverging lens, and the focal length is taken negative and it forms virtual image, means not the real one, right? This is a little bit recap of the topic lenses, which we have already done in our Zoom class. What are the uses of lenses? Convex lens is used in camera, projectors, binoculars, telescope, microscope, spectacles, and as magnifying glass, right? Because it makes the things bigger than their original size, right? And when we talk about concave lens, what is the use of concave lens? Concave lens is used in spectacles for removing eye defects, means the eyeglasses which we used to wear for the weak eyesight, we used to wear these concave lens, right? Now let's talk about the colors of light. Here you can see there are multiple number of colors present with a little difference between the shades. There are multiple number of colors, uncountable number of colors are present in the light. As we all know that commonly when we talk about the rainbow, we always say that there are 7 colors in light, but actually there are not 7 colors, there are multiple colors with a little difference between them, right? So here you can see we called it the the colors which are coming out from the light or which are present in the light are called spectrum, right? Electromagnetic spectrum is shown over here. The visible light region of the electromagnetic spectrum, this is the region which is visible, while the infrared lights and the ultraviolet rays, these are not the visible ones, we are unable to see them normally. Here you can see there are lots of colors coming out from the light, right? So basically what you have to learn about the color, that whenever we see anything colorful, actually what is happening, whenever the light is hitting on that object, all of the colors are going to absorb in that object, but that particular color is reflect back into our eyes and we are able to see that object in that particular color. As we see the trees in a green color, so why they are in green color? Because the leaves are absorbing all of the colors of the light but reflecting only green color. So when they are reflecting that green color, we are able to see those leaves or the trees in green color. Now this is all happening because of the white light is entering in them, which contain all of the color. But if we try to see the green color objects, which we are seeing green right now, we try to see them in a red light. Particularly in a red light, it seems like black because the object is reflecting green color, but we are seeing them in a red light. So red light can't be reflected back by that object. It's going to be absorbed by that object and nothing will going to reflect. So when no light is going to reflect, the object it seems black in color, right? And when all of the light is going to reflect from any of the object, it seems like white in color. But when particular colors are reflecting by the object, it seems in that particular color, right? So here you can see the example of the apple in front of you also. Okay, when the light is hitting on this apple, it's red in color. So why it is red in color? Because the color of the apple is going to reflect only red light and we are able to see that red color. That's why this apple seems in a red in color. Now here you can see the rods and cones in the retina, that how you are able to detect the color. Some of the people you observe that they are colorblind. They considered as the colorblind. And why they considered as the colorblind? Because these rods and cones in their retina are damaged by birth or by any accidental cause. That's why they are unable to identify some colors, not all but some colors, right? So here you can see the structure of the rods and cones, that is red, green and blue, the primary colors which are present in your eyeball, in your retina, which help you to detect or to see the different colors which are present around you. Now color is the perceptual quality of light. The human eye can distinguish almost 10 million colors. Color of the object: white light is the presence of all the colors of the visible spectrum, while black object absorbs all the colors and no light is going to reflect back. Here you can see the diagram in front of you, in which almost maximum number of colors are mentioned over here. When two or more than two colors are overlapping each other, they are also making some new colors. And this same diagram, not the same one, but the diagram of this kind is also drawn in your book, so you can easily learn the color combinations from your book as well. Now a little introduction about it. We are not going to go in the details of all this, but the color comes to our eyes from object due to all of these properties: by the emission, by the reflection, by the transmission, by the interference, by the dispersion and by the scattering. As it is not included in our chapter, so we are not going to discuss in detail about these all properties, but these all properties in combined form are responsible for the colors which are coming out and entering into our eyes. Thank you, students.